So everyone knows what Top Model is, right? That crazy ass reality game show where they take a bunch of plucky young hopefuls through a series of these questionable trials and challenges until only one remains, who then proceeds to take the modeling world by storm. At the helm of this operation is Tyra Banks, who at one point or another was a top model herself. And she wants to challenge the standards and stereotypes rooted in the industry and open it up to all types of people. Whether or not she accomplishes this is debatable, but there's no doubt that she has a vision, a manifesto even, for what the top model is or should be. I hope that over the course of this project you'll get a feel for that. It was towards the end of cycle 1 where I got the idea for this project, in which I will discuss all the goings-ons of each cycle, and hopefully we can learn something about the show and its broader implications. So let's start with cycle 1. So to give you an idea of what the competition is like if you haven't watched it, each week the models have to go through a lesson on some aspect of the modeling life, be it styling, PR, or just industry knowledge, after which they are challenged on it. Later in the week, they have a photo shoot which they are judged on, after which one of the girls is booted. So let's get started. Cycle 1 takes place in 2003. Society is a lawless wasteland, casual fashion, not much better. The challenges are decently rooted in reality. This time around, they're doing things like a mock runway show, press interviews, that kind of thing. Though there is one odd one where they have to hang out with these like 4 crusty Eurotrash creeps who are judging them on whether or not they embody the spirit of a girl who wears haute couture. Not sure what that's supposed to mean, but it's the outlier for this cycle. But I hear you might be asking at this point, what are the qualifications for the top model? Yeah, you got your challenges, your photo shoots, but what makes the top model? And at this point, it just seems like, obviously, who's the best model? You might be wondering why on earth I'm even mentioning that. It seems like a given, but you'll see what I mean shortly. Now, since this is the first time the competition was being done, the whole thing has this like weird clunkiness to it. The most obvious example I can think of is that like the judges at panel, like they're in such a tight, cramped room that there's not like a single shot of all of them together. And same with the girls at panel too. Like they can't fit them all into the same frame. They got to do like a close up shot of like 2 or 3 of them at a time. There's also this kind of weirdness with the voiceovers sometimes where like it'll start playing the voiceover over the shot of the girl's face, and then later cut to them in the voiceover. So it comes off as them like telepathically speaking to the audience or those in the room. But without further ado, let's get into our lovely contestants. I'm not going to go over every single one of them because honestly, a good number of them get like 0 screen time whatsoever, and a lot of them have the personality of my comatose grandfather, so I'm just going to go over those who stand out. First one we got is Ebony. The notes I have for her are bald, lesbian, and angry. She gets into a lot of arguments with the other girls pretty much each episode that she's on. Usually she's justified, but it's always framed in such a way that she's like overreacting. So justice for Ebony. And then we've got Giselle. Giselle's like the youngest girl there. Her whole story arc is that she needs to build confidence. And this is a criticism that Tyra levies at her just about every panel. And I wasn't paying much attention, but I didn't see too many examples of her not seeming confident other than some of the girls telling her that she fishes for compliments. Anyway, she slips up once, and then Tyra takes her out back and shoots her. And then we've got Adrienne. She's really funny. She's got this eldritch combination of like a Chicago accent and an ability to enunciate anything correctly, so half the time you can't really understand a damn thing she's saying. So Kissy's an odd one. She honestly doesn't have like any moments to shine. She doesn't have a whole lot of moments in the confessional. Her pictures are middling. But she makes it pretty far, and yeah, we never really get to see her develop her modeling or personality, so she's confusing to me, but she looks a little bit like Tyra, so there's that. And my favorite for the cycle, we have Elise. She comes out of the gate just talking about how much smarter she is than everyone, and she makes it clear that she only entered the competition on a whim, and so it's nothing to her. Usually this kind of makes me annoyed with the character, but for her it works, as she is the best model out of the bunch objectively. Alright, now saving the worst for last, we have Robin. She's actually just the worst kind of person. She always takes the chance to talk about how being religious somehow makes her a better person than the other girls. Using it to put people down. Most particularly putting down Elise and Ebony. On that matter, come to think of it, Elise really struck a nerve with Robin by admitting that she was atheist, after which Robin really made it a point to like single her out with like, oh, this Bible verse says this. Oh, and then she also like tries to imply to the whole house that she has an eating disorder, which, come on, what are you doing, Robin? So with our main characters out of the way, let's get on into some photo shoots. So the first photo shoot that they do is they're modeling swimwear in single digit weather. The whole point with that is to demonstrate to the girls that the modeling world is often uncomfortable and the working conditions are very harsh, and that seems to be the point with a good majority of the shoots, is to point out something to the girls about the modeling industry. Next one I can think of is that they're posing with snakes, and this one has a lot of really cool shots. It makes a lot of the girls uncomfortable, but like I said, we don't care about that. We care about the shots. And then there's two shots where they're posing with male models. The first one is this like football player who functionally is a prop for the girls to be jumping around on. I think it was to show the girls how to shoot with motion. And then the other one, they were doing like a underwear ad with what I honestly think was the first Android to have ever been rolled out into the public. Something about that model is just uncanny. And then finally, there was a photo shoot where they're doing like simulated nudity with like G-strings and nipple tape, and of course, as expected, Robin got on her high horse about how she's more pure and chaste than Elise and Adrian, and this naturally gets her eliminated. So thank God. So after Robin's elimination, we're left with the only models worth a damn. There's Adrian, Elise, and some other girl I didn't bother to mention. She won't be important. So they each have to make a case to the judges on why they deserve to be the top model, and which causes Elise to go on this weird tangent about how she's got these prime estrogen features and how beauty to her is purely a physical thing. So all of the judges agree that Adrian and Elise are the stronger models out of the three, but who would you think make the final two? Well, obviously it's Adrian and the other girl, right? I mean, it turns out that weird speech about like estrogen and all that got Elise booted. So I guess the other girl has earned me saying her name at this point, so we'll call her Shannon. So the finale consists of Adrian and Shannon doing a runway show and having their portfolios reviewed and finally making yet another case as to why they deserve to be the winner. So it seems pretty clear that Adrian has it in the bag at this point. I mean, all the judges have to say about Shannon is that she's too pretty, not edgy enough, and has a weird smile. So naturally, Adrian wins. So my issue with the ending of the cycle at this point is that the show was telling the viewer that the winner would be the best model. It was about showing these hopeful girls about what the modeling industry was all about. The harsh working conditions, uncomfortable living quarters, vague and meaningless criticism from the judges. All of the judges and even the other contestants agreed that Elise was by far the best model there, but she was eliminated for, in all honesty, a really stupid reason. So it seemed to me that her attitude towards the competition didn't live up to Tyra's vision of what the top model should be, so she was eliminated for being too smart and not wanting it enough. Okay, it's not fair for me to say she was eliminating for being too smart. She was a little cocky in her presentation of that intelligence, which Tyra brings up during her elimination. But the point I was getting at was more so the not wanting it enough in Tyra's eyes, and this sets a dire precedent for the rest of the series. People who make it far in the competition may not necessarily be the best model out of the bunch, but rather they're the ones most earnest about the prospect. Oh, well. Looks like someone forgot to record an outro. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you in Cycle 2.